Hello everyone, welcome to my next video that is on a simplified guide to resin cement selection. There are many a times when most of my colleagues will give me a call saying that we have Relax Veneer cement available in the department and we have the self-adhesive resin cement available. So can we use it with zirconia or lithium disilicate or with PFM and just random questions. And we think that a particular cement can be used in all kinds of ceramics. Well, no, that is not the situation. For resin cements, there's a specific criteria and way for its bonding, which is essential if we need long-lasting restorations. So let us see what to do with various resin cements that are available in the market. So just as a basic guide, the resin cements are classified into conventional and self-adhesive. In conventional, we have total etch, that is etch and rinse resin cement and self-etch resin cement. Now, when we go to total etch resin cement, they can either be self-cure, dual cure, or light cure, that is your veneer cement. Along with that, along with the conventional one, there are different kind of resin cements which are presently available, that is self-adhesive resin cement. Now, before we try to understand all this, we should know about bonding agents. It is very similar to our bonding agents. In that, we have etch and rinse system, we have our self-etch system, and we also have self-adhesive, that is our presently available universal bonding agents. So this is very similar to that. Now, total etch, that is etch and rinse. Now, in that, we have enamel and dentin surface, which is etched with 37% of phosphoric acid. Along with that, there will be application of a single layer of a dentin bonding agent prior to the cementation with the resin cement. When to use etch and rinse resin cement? The advantages will be higher bond strength to the enamel and other highly calcified tooth structures, that is your sclerotic dentin, fluorosed enamel, and high bond strength to dentin if used properly. Strict attention to details. Along with that, it usually comes in many shades, so you have good options of shade matching. So before we go into all this, we have to understand that best bonding is achieved with enamel. That is why etch and rinse is known to have the better bonding when we compare to your self-etch and self-adhesive cements. Now, this disadvantages here will include your multi-step. It's a very technique sensitive procedure and there is a higher possibility of post-operative sensitivity if not used properly on dentin surfaces. So this is again very important when you are etching your enamel and dentin, which is very similar to your etch and rinse bonding agents. That is, if you etch dentin more, there will be chances of post-operative sensitivity. So similar is the case in this kind of resin cement. So when there is high amount of enamel available, for example, I'll give you that is your veneers. So in veneers, you need a good shade matching. Yes, you need good options when it comes to shades. Along with that, you have high amount of enamel available. And veneers are very, the lithium disilicate or feldspathic porcelain, they are low strength ceramics. So if you need bonding in those cases, you need bonding with a cement which has good strength. So this will be the type of cement that will be used. I'll be discussing this later as well. Coming on to self-etch resin cements, these are simpler to use. So, okay, with time, what happens is that we cannot do so many steps. So that is how bonding agents also evolved. Similar to that, this is here, that is your self-etch resin cements. So instead of the etchant, it is composed of acidic monomers and phosphate esters, which is combined with the primer, and that is why it is known as self-etch primers. Right, so common acidic monomers that are used here are 10-MDP, which is found in our famous Panavia F resin cement, 4-meta and GPDM. Now, coming on to the advantages again here, it has good bond strength to dentin. See, whenever we are discussing about etch and rinse, please apply this to bonding agents and resin cements. That is, it has good strength to enamel. But when we are talking about dentin, good bond strength is achieved with self-etch resin cements. Ease of use, as there is no need for a separate phosphoric acid etching step. Then there is less risk for over-etching the dentin, less risk of post-operative sensitivity. And disadvantages will include relatively weaker bonds to the enamel and highly calcified tooth structures, because obviously total etch is the kind of bonding agent or the resin cement which gives highest strength with enamel. It may still cause post-operative sensitivity if you have not used it properly, if the adhesive is not aired right. And one more important thing I would like to mention here is, please follow the manufacturer's instructions, whether you're using bonding agent, whether you're using resin cements. If you're not going to follow them, it is going to lead to a failed restoration. So most self-etch resin cements need refrigeration as acidic monomers degrade with heat. This is another important factor, and less available shades when compared to total etch resin cements. Now moving on to the critical factors which are essential for bonding here, that is your degree of retention which is needed and which is affected by the preparation design. So we have to know how much retention we need. We will see which ceramic we are going to use, the amount of retention that we are going to need, and accordingly we have to choose the resin cement. Then ability to maintain a dry field. This is another important factor. Aesthetics, strength of the restoration material, as I've already mentioned, and the tooth bonding substrate, whether it is going to be more amount of enamel or more amount of dentin. Right. Now coming on to the choice of resin cement. So total etch, when there is a high aesthetic demand. So when will there be high aesthetic demand? When we are doing anything in the anterior teeth. And isolation is relatively easy because it's a technique sensitive procedure. Then low strength restoration, because this kind of cement is going to give you a high strength cement. It's a high strength cement. So we can use it with a low strength restoration. So that is your feldspathic porcelain or veneers. Preparations where enamel is predominant. This is very important because etch and rinse is going to bond best with the enamel or highly calcified structures. Now self-etch we have where is less than 4 millimeter of crown length when less than 2 walls are remaining, like in cases of inlays and onlays. Preparations with greater than 14-degree taper, low aesthetic demand where dentin is predominant. That is also very important, where isolation is difficult, and medium strength restorations. Then again, here with self-adhesive, this I'll be explaining in the next slide, the difference between the self-etch and the self-adhesive and where you have to use. So let us just go there. Okay. So let's make it easy. Again, when we need isolation. So supposedly we have posterior teeth. Okay. So we want to bond somewhere in 3-6 or 4-6 or somewhere in the upper posteriors. If it is going to be difficult, it is very tough for you to use a total etch system over there because it is going to involve multiple steps. So let us take an easier option and go for a self-adhesive or a self-etch resin cement. And if it is relatively easy, then you can go for a total etch. That is your anterior teeth. So here we know when isolation is required, which kind of resin cement we have to use. Now let us see about the aesthetic demand. High, when the aesthetic demand is high, that is your anterior. Veneers, translucent crowns, that is highly aesthetic ceramic materials with relatively low strength. So whenever we are bonding to the tooth, we either need a high strength resin cement or we need a high strength ceramic. So when we are in the anterior teeth, we need more aesthetics that will be provided by what kind of ceramics, like lithium disilicate. Okay, they are not high strength ceramics. So in order to provide good strength, what we can do is we have to use a total etch system. Hence here, in cases of veneers or translucent crowns, we go for a total etch system. That is your resin cement. Now, low, that is tooth is not in the aesthetic zone. So we are going for zirconia, alumina, PFM, posterior teeth. Now in those cases, you can go for a self-adhesive or a self-etch resin cement. All right. Now, when the retention is required, again, if up to 14-degree taper is there, then we can go for a self-adhesive. And if it is greater than 14-degree, then we have to go for self-etch, because I'll be telling you further when we have, according to various studies that have been performed, they have shown that self-etch still provides a better retention than self-adhesive. So for tapered crown preparations where dentin is the predominant tooth structure, we have to go for a self-etch. Now we are talking about crown length, that is less than 4 millimeters. In that, again, self-etch, dentin is the predominant structure, and greater than or equal to 4 mm is self-adhesive. Number of walls remaining, 2 or more remaining, self-adhesive. Less than 2 walls remaining, you can go for a self-etch or you can go for a total etch, which is more effective for the enamel margins at the cavo surface. So this is what I was talking about. It should be noted that when retention is the main issue and there is a lot of denting that is exposed, self-etched resin cements should take precedence over the self-adhesive, as self-etched cements have higher bond strengths and they are more durable. So this is how you have to analyze between your self-adhesive and your self-etched resin cements. Just because self-adhesive are easy and they have come lately, they do not mean that they're going to be the best ones. So with various cases, you have to choose what kind of resin cement you have to use. Now, coming on to the material strength. Once again, if it is low, that is your feldspathic ceramics or veneers, because they are very thin. In those cases, again, you're going to go for a total etch. Then along with that, if it is high, that is Emax and alumina and zirconia ceramics, well, here you have to go with a self-adhesive or a self-etch. Bonding substrates, that is mostly enamel or highly calcified structures. Again, total etch, and mostly dentin, that is self-adhesive or self-etch. Here I would like to mention is that when you're going for veneers, they are very thin. So even if they are made up of lithium disilicate, though it has sufficient strength, but you have to use a total etch system and a light cure one. That is very important. These are the few examples that we see in total etch. That is your self cure. We have Metabond, Conspan. In dual cure, what I've been using commonly is Panavia F, Variolink 2, which is given by Ivoclar. And for light cure, we have Relax Veneer that I've been using for veneers. So we have to know that for veneers, we have to use light cure resin cements, because if you go for a dual cure or self cure, it is going to lead to discoloration because the presence of amines. So you have to go for a light cure resin cement when you are going to cement your veneers. And when we go to self etch, that is going to be self etch primers, that is Panavia F and again Duolink SE. Self-adhesive resin cement, there is no need for bonding procedure on the tooth surface since phosphoric acid is grafted into the resin cement. So this is like the easiest cement, but again, you have to know when to use it, as I've already mentioned. So in that, we have examples like Multilink and Reliex U200, which are commonly used. So if you want further details, you can actually refer to a book by Springer. It's on the classification of resin cements. It's a beautiful chapter and an amazing book. It's a practical guide on details of resin cement, examples, how to use them, how to dispense them. So please do not use resin cements just like, with any kind of ceramic or in any kind of restoration. There is a specific way to use it and in specific cases. If you have any further doubts, please mention in the comment section and I would be glad to answer. Thank you so much. Have a great day.